Guys, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Good evening. Alexa, what's the time please?
The time is 8:05 p.m.
Well guys, we're well into Monday evening. I've been by myself all day. On and off getting messages from dating sites from unsavoury looking men. I'm writing what they're saying and what times they're texting me all throughout the day, and I did it yesterday and I've got to write more up today. So I told you that I went into the co-op about 10 to 3 and I had an impatient woman behind my back while I was trying to put my things through the self-assessment checkout, which did annoy me and frustrate me, but I didn't turn around and say anything. I've had people in front of me with trolley loads full of shopping and I've not got cross with them. I've just waited patiently. There was someone at the counter. The lady in question could have gone over to the counter and paid for her goods at the counter, but she continued to tut behind my back and try and hurry me up. I ignored it. I put my stuff patiently in a bag and then I left the co-op and came home into my flat. I came into my flat, I put YouTube on, I listened to crime stories, real life crime stories, and I made myself a cup of coffee and I ate the lentil crisps and read the newspaper. So that took me up to 4 or 5 o'clock, and then I made more coffee, I watched more videos, and then I get ready to take Max out for a walk between 7 and 8 usually. Sometimes it's earlier, sometimes it's later, depending what's happening. So I got ready to take Max out for a walk. I wasn't cross, I wasn't angry, I'd been by myself all day. My mother hadn't rung since this morning, and I took Max out and I threw some rubbish into the bin, and then I walked onto the Rochester Riverside field because I live in Rochester. I passed the co-op and Costa Coffee, and I let somebody come off the field because Max yaps and he makes a load of noise and I don't want to attract attention to myself after what happened with that Charlie character. So I walked around the back of Costa Coffee and then I walked onto the field, and there was a couple behind me with a black and white dog, and it was off the lead. So I walked away from the dog and I walked around the field the other way, and I just, my phone pinged. It pinged. I kept my phone in my pocket and I just walked around the field. It was fairly quiet. I walked around half an hour onto the field. I walked off and nothing remarkable happened. I just had a quiet walk. I just took it easy. I shut myself off now. When I hear something, I shut myself off because the noises that people make are just common everyday noises. I make them. I go sometimes when I've trodden something or I've swallowed something nasty. I go and I laugh sometimes when I put a YouTube video on and it's funny. I laugh out loud. So it's retraining your brain. It's retraining your brain, because when you've been bullied as bad as I have, and I have been badly bullied since I was a school child, you automatically think, automatically on the defensive, oh, that's meant at me. Right, you've got to say to yourself that people don't know who you are, Crystal. They don't know who you are. They couldn't be possibly laughing and making noises at you. Why would they? They don't even know who you are. Because if people knew who I was, I'd be famous and I'd be raking in the money. And I'm poor. I've got no money. I'm not making money. so people can't possibly know who I am. So then I forget it. I chuck the noises in the bin and I get on with what I'm doing now. Right? So, it gets... I told you, I went out, I took Max out for a walk, and I came back into my flat. Charlie was not on there. There was a bloke pushing a pram earlier on, a young chap with glasses, walking a similar dog to Charlie, pushing a pram. And Charlie is an old man in his 60s. And we're not getting into that, trying to make an older man appear attractive with their witchcraft and their sorcery. Because that's what they did when my dad used to take me away to places. You know, give him some money, give him these cars, and then he was taking me to these places and mistreating me. Making an old man appear, you know, magical. I'm not going to say any more on that subject. So, I've come into my flat, it's quiet. My mum has suggested that I go up to hers tomorrow. So we shall see. We'll see, won't we? And my mum has phoned this evening.
Have 2 new messages and 26 saved messages. First new message. Received today at 10:11 a.m.
Hello, Janessa. Your phone number came up, so I'm ringing you right now. If there's anything bothering you, anything you need or whatever, give me a telephone call. I won't be going.
Your message will be saved for 7 days. Next new message. Received today at 7:59 p.m.
Good evening, Janessa. It's the last telephone call of the evening, and I'll be giving you a telephone call tomorrow. Good night. God bless.
To listen to the message again,
So that was my mum, Jennifer, talking to me this evening. And she called after I got back from taking Max for a walk on the field. It's been a quiet day. It's been unremarkable. There's been no post. I don't talk to Kim anymore in the co-op. I go in there and I keep quiet. But I'm not being silenced. Don't get me wrong, I'm trying to prove a point. The whole case about me was that I was mad. And a lot of domestic violence abusers say that their partner or girlfriend is mad to get them off really bad charges of abuse. So I'm being quiet for a reason. There is nothing wrong with me. And things happened to me when I came down to Chatham in 2008 that shouldn't have happened. And if I was mad, I was allowed to be ritually abused on several occasions. Right? And I had got in touch with the police several times, the Kent police, to tell them that I was being abused, and they didn't listen to me. Yet, on my records it said I was mad. Right? Red flags should have come up long before other things happened to me. And I've been allowed to be abused over, I was abused when I was 10 onwards. And I'm now 54. And I feel that I am trying to be bullied into sexual encounters I don't want to go on. I'm being sent pictures of really, really nasty looking men, and you know, these men, they're rough looking, rough and nasty, and look like that they could beat you up or do things to you, right? Of course I'm not going to go on dates with strange blokes. I'm not stupid. But sometimes when you're alone in the flat, right, especially at the worst times like late at night, and you really, really would like to talk to somebody, and you know you can't speak to your mother because she's gone to bed, you know, you don't know who you're talking to, that's the trouble. My dog keeps me company, my dog keeps me going. Not to say that I couldn't cope without him, because I could, I'm strong now, but I'm not being stupid, I know what I'm doing. The whole case was that I was mad, and that's rubbish, it's absolute rubbish. I was tortured, I was abused, and I was isolated and taken away from my children. And I was like given stuff, money, food, and I was kept away from my kids. My kids actually told me later on that they thought, one of them thought I was dead, and the others were told that I went of my own accord. And I left my kids on purpose, and that wasn't the case at all. That was lies. I love my kids. I live for my kids. So they were told a whole bunch of baloney and rubbish, and I had angry kids thinking that I'd left them. One of them thought I was dead. I've gone through a lot, and I've got over it. I've come to terms with it, because if you keep going on being upset and angry, it's going to make you feel ill and make you feel sick. I've got to look after myself, because nobody else does. And no, probably nobody else does care. But I care about myself. And I keep myself going because one day I want to tell my story like everybody else does. Famous people tell their stories. And I'm tired of watching other people tell their stories and I'm unable to, because it's covered under the bloody carpet. And every time I try and like apply to go on a talk show or something, it ends up like the show's axed, it's cut off. This is such a conspiracy that when you actually apply to go on a TV show, there's an excuse why you can't go on there, or the show's axed before you actually do go on there. It's just weird. And as far as I know, I'm just an ordinary common or garden person, and what the fuck would they worry about me telling my story? Do you see what I'm saying? YouTube, I'm grateful for YouTube, because but my channel is very small. It's very, very small, and it doesn't reach a lot of people. I don't know why, but it doesn't. It's very tiny, and it's not reaching a lot of people. So everything in my life is cut off and covered up when it needs to be out in the open. I just want to make other people aware that you can survive after being allegedly raped and abused by a relative. You can survive when your children are taken away from you, like they were from me. It's very, very difficult. sometimes I thought I was going to die alone with no one. On one occasion I thought I was actually left for dead with a small baby. But here I am now, and my kids are grown up. I've had to live without them, and I'm here. That's the main thing. There's people that have been abducted off of Facebook and Tinder, and they've been killed and murdered. And I say to myself, right, you've had really nasty things happen to you, Crystal, but you are here and you are now, and you've lived and you can tell your story. Those poor girls that have been murdered can't. See you later.